Nnamdi and Adanna, the two village lovers, sat beneath the shade of a tree. The tree, known in the village of Umweze as a symbol of union and fertility, had become their favorite meeting point. Birds chirped in harmony above them, the sound blending with the rustling leaves, creating a serene atmosphere. Adanna leaned her head on Nnamdi's shoulder, her fingers tracing small circles on the rough fabric of his shirt. "Nnamdi," she began softly, "do you ever think about what our future will look like? What kind of husband do you think you will be?" Nnamdi smiled, his teeth gleaming against his dark skin. "I will be the husband who makes you laugh every day," he replied, his voice brimming with confidence. "The one who carries you on his back to the stream when your feet are tired. The one who builds a home where love flows as freely as the waters of the Obiji River." Adanna laughed, her melodic voice echoing through the clearing. "You and your sweet words, Nnamdi. Sometimes I wonder if you practice them before coming to see me." "No practice," Nnamdi said, placing a hand on her cheek and gazing into her eyes. "Everything I say to you comes straight from my heart. You are my world, Adanna. Nothing and no one will ever come between us." Unknown to the couple, someone was watching them from a distance. Hidden behind the thick foliage of a guava tree, Obiora sat crouched, his eyes fixed on them. His face, a mask of false calm, betrayed the storm raging within. Obiora had always been the quiet one in their trio, content to let Nnamdi take the lead in their friendship. But everything changed the day he first noticed Adanna. Her smile, her gentle demeanor, the way her laughter seemed to light up the air, it all captivated him in ways he couldn't explain. The realization that she belonged to Nnamdi, his closest friend, made the longing unbearable. From his hiding spot, Obiora forced a smile that didn't reach his eyes. To anyone who saw him, he would appear like a loyal friend, watching over the couple to ensure their safety. But in truth, every shared laugh, every gentle touch between Nnamdi and Adanna felt like a dagger to his chest. As the couple continued their conversation, Obiora's thoughts darkened. "She deserves better than him," he muttered under his breath. "If only she could see me for who I truly am." The afternoon stretched on and the couple's laughter filled the air. When they finally stood to leave, Nnamdi turned to Obiora, who had emerged from his hidden spot with his usual feigned share. "Obiora, my brother," Nnamdi called out, waving him over. "You've been sitting there alone for too long. Come, let's walk Adanna back to her father's compound together." Obiora forced a grin and joined them, walking a step behind as the couple held hands. Every glance at their intertwined fingers felt like a reminder of what he couldn't have. But Obiora knew he had to bide his time. "Patience," he thought to himself. "One day, she will realize I am the one she truly deserves." As they walked along the narrow path leading to Adanna's father's compound, Nnamdi's laughter rang out, filling the air with joy. Adanna smiled shyly, occasionally nudging him playfully. But behind them, Obiora followed silently, his thoughts clouded with envy. When they reached Adanna's compound, she turned to Nnamdi and said, "Thank you for walking me home. Greet your mother for me." Nnamdi nodded, his smile as bright as the setting sun. "I will, and don't forget, tomorrow we will meet at the stream to fetch water. I have something special to show you." Adanna giggled. "I will be there." She glanced briefly at Obiora. "Good night, Obiora." "Good night, Adanna," he replied, his voice steady but his heart aching. As Adanna disappeared into her family's hut, Nnamdi turned to Obiora, placing a hand on his shoulder. "Brother, Thank you for always having my back. I know you're like a silent protector, always looking out for us." Obiora forced a laugh. "Of course, Nnamdi, what are friends for?" But as they walked away from the compound, Obiora's mind churned with plans. He couldn't stand being the shadow in their love story any longer. He had to act. And soon, later that night, under the cover of darkness, Obiora made his move. He approached Adanna's compound, his heart pounding with a mix of fear and determination. Her family's heart was silent, save for the occasional chimp of crickets. He crouched near her window and whispered, "Adanna." It took a moment before she responded, her voice cautious. "Who is it?" "It's me, Obiora," he said, his voice trembling. "Please, can I speak with you for a moment?" Adanna hesitated before stepping outside, tying a loose wrapper around her chest. "What is it, Obiora? Is Nnamdi all right?" Obiora shook his head. "Yes, he's fine. I just needed to tell you something. Something I've been holding in for a long time." Adanna frowned. "What could be so important that you had to come here at this hour?" Obiora stepped closer, his voice low and pleading. "Adanna, I know you love Nnamdi, but I've loved you since the day I first saw you. Every time I see you with him, it feels like my heart is being ripped apart. Please, give me a chance. I will treat you like a queen. I will give you the world." Adanna stepped back, her face a mixture of shock and anger. "Obiora, how dare you? Nnamdi is your closest friend, and I love him. I could never betray him like this, and neither should you. If you value our friendship, you will forget this conversation ever happened." "But Adanna, no," she said firmly, her voice rising. "If you ever approach me like this again, I will tell Nnamdi. Now leave and don't ever try this again." Obiora stood frozen for a moment before turning and walking away. His fist clenched. Her rejection stung, but more than that, her threat to tell Nnamdi terrified him. As days turned into weeks, Obiora couldn't let go of his obsession. Every time he saw Nnamdi and Adanna together, his jealousy grew. He tried to act normal, but inside, he was spiraling. One evening, as the three of them sat together under the Iroko tree, Nnamdi excused himself to fetch water from a nearby stream. Obiora seized the moment. "Adanna," he whispered, leaning closer to her, "why can't you see that I'm the better choice? Nnamdi is a good man, but he will never love you like I do." Adanna stood abruptly, her eyes blazing with anger. "This is the last time I will tolerate this, Obiora. If you don't stop, I will tell Nnamdi everything. You are supposed to be his friend, yet you're betraying him in the worst way." Obiora watched her walk away. The fear of losing her and of Nnamdi discovering his betrayal consumed him. His thoughts turned darker with each passing day. "If I can't have her," he muttered to himself one night, staring at the moonlight sky, "then no one will." The moon cast its silver glow over the quiet village, but Obiora's mind was anything but tranquil. As he lay on his bamboo bed, memories of Adanna's stern rejection haunted him. The words she had spoken with such conviction echoed endlessly in his head. His chest burned with a combination of shame and rage, his thoughts darkened by envy. For days he avoided both Nnamdi and Adanna, feigning illness. He couldn't bear to see their love flourish before his eyes, yet the distance only intensified his obsession. Adanna's beauty haunted his dreams, and the image of Nnamdi's joy made his blood boil. One evening, Nnamdi, unaware of his friend's growing hatred, visited Obiora's hut. He brought a basket of fresh palm fruits, a token of their friendship. "Obiora," Nnamdi said with a cheerful grin, "you've been scarce lately. Are you feeling better now?" Obiora, sitting by the dimly light corner of his hut, forced a weak smile. Yes, my friend, just a little fever, but I'm recovering. Nnamdi sat beside him, his usual infectious warmth filling the room. That's good to hear. You should join me tomorrow. Adanna and I are going to the village square to watch the drummers. It will be fun and it will lift your spirits. Obiora's smile faltered for a fraction of a second before he nodded. I will try, Nnamdi. Thank you for always checking on me. Nnamdi placed a hand on his shoulder. You are my brother, Obiora. What are friends for, if not to look out for each other? Those words struck a nerve. Obiora swallowed hard, masking the turmoil within. Yes, brothers, he muttered, his voice barely audible. The next day, as they walked to the village square, Obiora lagged behind, watching Nnamdi and Adanna from a distance. They held hands, their laughter blending with the lively sounds of drums and flutes. The villagers, too, couldn't help but admire the couple. Such a perfect match, an elderly woman remarked. Nnamdi is lucky to have a beauty like Adanna. Obiora clenched his fist. Their happiness was like a salt on an open wound. He urged for Adanna to look at him with the same affection she reserved for Nnamdi. But deep down, he knew she never would. The few days later, unable to suppress his desires, Obiora tried again. He waited until Nnamdi was busy repairing a thatched roof for a villager. He found Adanna alone, fetching firewood near the forest. Adanna, he called out, stepping closer to her. She turned, startled by his presence. Her expression hardened the moment she recognized him. What do you want, Obiora? She asked sharply. I need to speak with you, he pleaded. His voice soft yet desperate. Just hear me out one last time. Adanna sighed heavily. I warned you before. I have nothing to say to you, Obiora, but I can't help how I feel, he said, stepping closer. I've tried to forget you, but it's impossible. You are in my heart, Adanna. Please, just give me a chance. Nnamdi doesn't have to know. Adanna's eyes widened with anger. She dropped the bundle of firewood and pointed a finger at him. Obiora, enough. I love Nnamdi, not you. I could never betray him. And if you keep this up, I swear, I will tell him everything. Her words hit him like a slap. Obiora's jaw tightened, his fist trembling at his sides. You will regret this, Adanna, he said through gritted teeth. I promise you will regret it. Adanna's voice was firm as she picked up her firewood. Stay away from me, Obiora. If you were truly Nnamdi's friend, you wouldn't be doing this. She turned and walked away, leaving Obiora standing there, seething with humiliation and fury. That night, Obiora's thoughts turned darker than ever before. He sat in his hut, staring at the flickering flame of a small oil lamp. His mind raced with vengeful ideas. If Nnamdi weren't in the picture, he muttered to himself, Adanna would have no choice but to see me. She would learn to love me. His lips curved into a sinister smile as a dangerous plan began to take shape. Nnamdi trusts me. That will be his undoing. Adanna was alone at the stream, washing vegetables in the shallow waters, when a presence disturbed her peace. She turned and found Obiora standing behind her, wearing a forced smile. Sister, he began, his voice unusually soft. You are always glowing. Do you know you deserve better than Nnamdi? Adanna paused, startled. What do you mean? I mean you could have any man, even me. She stood up, eyes narrowed. Obiora, what you are saying is dangerous. Nnamdi is your friend. Obiora stepped closer. And yet, I see how he takes you for granted. But me, I would worship the ground you walk on. Adanna's voice sharpened. Stop this, Obiora. I won't let you ruin your relationship over something that will never happen. If you try this again, I will tell him myself. Obiora stared at her silently, then walked away. But in his heart, a fire was kindled. while he still followed Nnamdi like his shadow. His laughter felt empty, his glances sharp. He could no longer hide his resentment. At night, he lay on his raffia mat, staring at the ceiling of his hut. He imagined what life would be like with Adanna by his side. The thoughts consumed him and envy poisoned his soul. He began to question the fairness of life. Why should Nnamdi, whose only advantage was love, have what he himself desired most? The bitterness grew like mud in his spirit. One market day, Obiora saw Adanna alone, picking tomatoes at Mama Nkechi's tail. He approached her again, this time with a different tactic. Adanna, he said quietly, what if Nnamdi wasn't there anymore? She froze, slowly turning to face him. What kind of talk is that? He smirked. Hypothetically, I mean, would you ever consider someone like me? Adanna's anger rose like a storm. I warned you. Whatever you think you're doing, stop it now. You're darkening your spirit. Adanna, no, you can't kill what already lives in my heart. I love Nnamdi, and I will never love you. Obiora's pride shattered. His desire twisted into something darker, obsession laced with vengeance. Chidi began noticing Obiora's shifts. The jokes between them became fewer. The warmth had grown cold. Is something wrong between you and Obiora? He asked Nnamdi one day as they fixed a broken fence. Nnamdi shook his head. He's been distant, but maybe he's going through something. Obiora is like a brother to me. Chidi wasn't convinced. Some brother smile at you while sharpening a dagger behind your back. Nnamdi laughed it off. But that night, Chidi's words replayed in his mind. He pushed them aside. After all, he trusted Obiora, perhaps too much. The village square was alive with music and laughter. Drums echoed and flames danced in the fire pit. Adanna looked radiant in her wrapper, adorned with beads and cowries. Obiora saw her from across the square, and his heart twisted. Nnamdi held her hand, introducing her to the elders with pride. Something snapped inside Obiora that night. He imagined Nnamdi no longer in the picture. 2 months later, tragedy struck. Nnamdi was found lifeless near the outskirts of the forest path. His body limp. His spirit departed. The village mourned. Wails filled the air. Adanna collapsed beside his body. Her voice hoarse from screaming. Obiora cried too loudly, even louder than most. But behind the mask of grief was the satisfaction of a goal accomplished. Only Chidi watched him closely. The tears seemed forced, too rehearsed. Death walks, but truth lives behind it. The village priest muttered during the burial, one day it will catch up. After weeks of mourning, Obiora approached Adanna with a small bowl of soup. I brought food, he said, his tone low. I know how hard this must be for you. Adanna did not speak. Her face was pale, her eyes red. Obiora continued, I loved you, I still do. Maybe now without him, maybe now you can love me back. Adanna looked at him for a long cold moment. Then, with the calmness of buried fury, she whispered, I would rather starve than eat anything from you. I loved a man who died. You are not him. Leave. Obiora placed the bowl down. But as he walked away, the madness inside him grew. She still refused him, even in death. Nnamdi's presence stood between them. Obiora began to feel a chill in his bones, not from the cold winds, but from something deeper, something unspoken. Nnamdi's presence clung to the air like smoke that refused to clear. He would wake in the dead of the night, drenched in sweat, hearing voices that no one else could. Sometimes he saw Nnamdi standing at the foot of his bed, his eyes hollow, his hands stretched out, accusing. He drank bitter herbs. He went to the dibia, He made sacrifices, but still the voices followed. One evening, he heard a whisper in the wind, "You took my life. Now I live in your shadow." Adanna changed. Her beauty remained, but her joy died the day Nnamdi was buried. She sat under the same tree where they once dreamed of the future, now talking only to herself and to the wind. Obiora came again, carrying roasted yam and palm oil. "Leave it there and go," she said without lifting her eyes. "Adanna, can't we begin again? We've both suffered." She turned to him slowly. "You think we suffer the same? You think I don't see the devil in your eyes? Go before I curse you." Her voice carried the weight of love, shattered and truth unsaid. The village priest, an old man named Okoro, began to speak in riddles during gatherings. People thought it was aid, but others saw a warning in his words. "The ground is thirsty, but not for rain," he said one day at the square. "It remembers blood that should not have been spilled. Until justice speaks, peace will be a stranger." Obiora avoided the priest after that. He could feel eyes on him, too many eyes, some living, some not. Chidi also grew suspicious. One night, Obiora dreamed he was in a wedding. Adanna wore a red wrapper and coral beads, smiling not at him, but at Nnamdi, whose head bore a crown made of bones. Drums played, but their sound was off. The beats were heavy, echoing like thunder. Obiora tried to run, but his legs sank into the red sand. Then Nnamdi turned to him and whispered, "You can kill flesh, but not love. You can silence voices, but not truth." Obiora woke up screaming. His heart was filled with smoke, but there was no fire. While returning from a hunt, Chidi saw something buried shallowly near the edge of the forest. A cloth soaked in what looked like dried blood, and a broken charm. He recognized the wrapper immediately. It was Nnamdi's. Fear gripped him. He returned the next day and dug deeper. What he found was a dagger, rusted but stained. Something told him this was no accident. He took it to Okoro. "This confirms what the spirits have been whispering," the old priest said. "The land is crying. The truth must rise." During the annual festival of spirits, villagers danced to honor ancestors. That night, a young boy began convulsing and speaking in a voice not his own. "I was betrayed," he cried out, "by one I called brother." People froze. Drums stopped. Chidi stood slowly. Obiora fled the square before the boy could say more. But the people were already murmuring. Whispers turned into suspicion. Eyes turned toward him. And Adanna stood up and said clearly, "I know who the spirit speaks of." The village council was summoned. Chidi presented the cloth and the dagger. Adanna told the council how Obiora had tried to win her even before Nnamdi's death. She swore by her mother's grave. Obiora, cornered and sweating, denied everything. But the priest rose and placed kola nuts on the ground. "If he is innocent," Okoro declared, "let the gods speak." The nuts broke open in silence. One bled red from the inside. The people gasped. Obiora's legs gave way. The elders could not bring back the dead, but they exiled Obiora from the land. He was marked with ash and sent into the wilderness with only a mat and a calabash of water. But the punishment was not the end. As he walked into the dark forest, he heard footsteps behind him, yet no one was there. Whispers, shadows, laughter that wasn't his. "You killed for love. Now love will haunt you." Obiora lived alone in an abandoned hut near the cursed hills. Every night, he saw them, Nnamdi and Adanna, together smiling. Yes, Adanna had died shortly after the trial. She had fallen ill, wasting away within weeks. But her spirit was not quiet. They came to him nightly, speaking without lips, burning without fire. His skin began to rot. His eyes became sunken. His hair turned gray. He cried out for mercy. None came. One night, he staggered into the village square screaming, "I did it! I killed him! I killed them both!" And with that confession, he collapsed. Obiora's body was buried at the edge of the village, near the path of the spirit world, a place reserved for the cursed. But peace returned. The air grew lighter. The trees whispered in joy. The river flowed freely again. Children born that year were named Udochukwu, which means peace of God. Adanna and Nnamdi were honored in songs and memory. And every time lovers sat under the tree where they once spoke of the future, they were reminded that love is pure, betrayal is deadly, and no matter how long the night lasts, the dawn will always rise with truth.